Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I'm your host, Preston Proctor. We almost have enough data to look at. Yeah, let's see. The Preds have played 13 games now. So has the Minnesota Wild, the Colorado Avalanche, who is in first place, I might add, in the Central Division. And at 19 points, they are on top of the league. So Colorado Avalanche have played 13 games, just like the Nashville Predators. So I think we can close the book on that on the Predators' schedule being a problem. The Boston's played 14 games. So let's see. Let's go back to the division standings here. And Colorado has played 13. They're on top of the Central Division, on top of the league. Nashville has played 13. Minnesota has played 13. They're behind Nashville, unfortunately. Edmonton has also played 13. Little quick rant, couldn't help but notice that when I logged into the NHL, I think it was yesterday, the front page of the NHL, not anything about an NHL story, nothing about a team that overcame a loss. No, it was how Connor McDavid was so upset for the Toronto Blue Jays to have lost the World Series. Front story on NHL.com is Connor McDavid upset about a baseball game. All right, enough said. And Calgary's played 14 games too. Of course, they're at the bottom of the league. Boston is, where is Boston? Boston is fifth, and they're tied for third. 3 teams at 14. Montreal is at 18. Red Wings also having played 13 games at 18. So, close the book on that one. And one thing I was wondering, I remember when I was looking at the stats for Calgary, that there were a lot of penalties in the game, and they were like the first team in the league with regards to having power play opportunities. And looking at all of the sticks cracking, I just started wondering if they got a lot of slashing penalties, if their sticks were possibly manufactured to break easier. And therefore, if somebody took a more than gentle swing and caught their stick, the stick would break. A swing at a stick breaking, the refs tend to call a slashing penalty because the broken stick is the evidence. I just started wondering, went to NHL.com, look at stats. I could not figure out from there if I could figure out how many slashing penalties had been called against teams that Calgary were playing. But I just started wondering, with all those broken sticks on the ice and the fact that Calgary got so many power plays, just made me wonder. Well, anyway, so the Preds wound up winning that game, sneaking out of it, actually. Looked really good in the first period. A couple of goals and then a power play goal, and then in the third period wanted to give it all back. Well, let's look somewhere different. Let's take a look at let's get a minor league update.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Yeah, you don't know how to help me with that. That's a kind of a refrain I get from my production staff at times. Thank you. Milwaukee last week, they beat the Chicago Wolves on Wednesday. Ufko got a goal and 2 assists. Murray was in goal. And then on Friday and Saturday, they played the Cleveland Monsters at home. And both of those went to overtime. Friday was a loss, 3-4 loss with Murray in goal. Saturday was a 3-2 win with Krona in goal. And Daniel Carr got 2 goals on his birthday. Turned 34 on Saturday. So happy birthday, Daniel, and 2 goals, one being the overtime winner. Milwaukee is third in the Central with 10 points. Atlanta continues to be on a winning streak. They are the only undefeated team left in the ECHL. They are first in the league, first in the Eastern Conference, and first in the South Division. Over the weekend, they won 4-2 against the Savannah Ghost Pirates. And then on Sunday, 2-1 against the South Carolina Stingrays. Saturday's game was noted that they got 2 shorthanded goals in the first period. They scored 3 in the first period. They got a regular strength goal. Whistling today. Regular strength goal, and then 2 shorthanded goals, and those 2 goals came within 6 seconds of each other. So that was pretty amazing. They did kind of similar to the Preds on Saturday, that they got 3 goals in the first and then let the other team back in. The Ghost Pirates got 1 in the second and 1 in the third before Atlanta got their 4th goal. Did not get it as an empty netter. They got it about a minute after the second goal from the Ghost Pirates. But yeah, wound up with that 4-2 victory. And with Hyder, it was in net, and I did not note who was. Oh no, it was some Hyder. Yeah, that guy. The guy with a really long name. Excuse me. And as I said, they are first in the league. Let's move back to the NHL, and in the NHL, it is Monday, and the Vancouver Canucks are in town. 7:30 game tonight if you're going. If you're not, if you're watching it on TV, it's still at 7:30. Not at 7. Not at 7. So, yeah, a little bit later. Hey, if you want to make sure to have enough energy at that game, Quantum Energy Squares. Quantum Energy Squares, yeah. Prudence was eating one of those cookies and cream yesterday, working on, she was working on calculus, the calculus assignments for this week for her high school class. And needed a little help, needed a little food, a little pick-me-up. And so, so the cookies and cream, it's a new flavor. I don't know. It's at some point it's going to be in stores. Right now you can get it off their website, quantumsquares.com, or I think they said they're on Amazon. I haven't looked at Amazon to see what all their product line is on Amazon. But quantumsquares.com, use the promo code PREDSPRO and you'll get 25% off. Shipping is at $35. Free shipping after the $35 purchase. So the Canucks at 7:30. The Canucks are 6th. The Vancouver diving team. When the Sedin twins, I don't know how many people actually know, and boy, it seemed really popular saying, at least amongst Kings fans. Yeah, with the Sedin twins there, boy, those guys would fall down if you looked at them sideways, and sure enough, the refs would call a penalty. I don't think the Sedin twins had the same power as Connor McDavid, that at a stoppage of play, Connor McDavid could walk over and talk to the refs, and then the refs would call a penalty afterwards. Did see that. Saw that last year. Once, I don't know, like I watch Edmonton games a lot, but I did see one game and there was no penalty, didn't see anything. A normal stoppage of play, Connor McDavid goes over, talk to the refs. Next thing you know, penalty against the other team. Yeah. But no, they're really good at drawing penalties, and the NHL was pretty lax with letting them get away with it. The Vancouver diving team I'm not sure that they are quite as adept at that anymore, but I'm sure, with Evander Kane over there, I'm sure he fits just really well in there now. Evander Kane being a pickup for them in the offseason, coming over from Edmonton. But yeah, they are sixth in the Pacific Division with 12 points. They are 6-7-0, one of 9 teams left without an overtime loss. They are 4-4-0 on the road, so an even 500. Today's game is the last of a 3-game road trip for them. They are 1-1-0 on that road trip. They lost to, well, wouldn't that be 1-0-1? Yeah, they lost on Thursday to St. Louis 3-4 in a shootout. Yeah, that should be 1-0-1. Production team, got to get that quantum energy squares. Preds Pro is the promo code, but 1-0-1 would be the appropriate record for that, having lost in overtime to St. Louis on Thursday and Saturday 5-2. They beat Minnesota 5-2 on Saturday. Next up for Vancouver are 4 at home, including a back-to-back over the weekend. So on Wednesday, they'll play Chicago. Saturday, the Blue Jackets come to town. Sunday, they'll face Colorado. And then Tuesday, Winnipeg. So 4 for at home for them coming up. Tonight's game is the second game of 3 versus Vancouver. Vancouver is the first team that we have met twice this year. I think Philadelphia is the next team we'll have met twice. Yeah, Minnesota comes to town. Oh, no, we go to Minnesota. Yeah, that's right. Tonight's game for the Preds is part of a back-to-back. Vancouver here tonight, and then tomorrow night the Preds play in Minnesota. Then back here on Thursday for Philadelphia, then Saturday, Dallas. So Philadelphia and Dallas will be the second time we met those. But tonight, Vancouver is the first team that we have met twice this season. Vancouver is 0-1 against the Preds, having lost on October 23rd here in Nashville, 1-2. Next time we'll see Vancouver will be mid-March in Vancouver. The weather doesn't get too bad up in Vancouver. The winters are pretty easy. Used to live in Seattle, lived in the Seattle area for 16 years. Would go up to Vancouver a few times, go up to Whistler a couple of times. Whistler in the summer, actually quite beautiful. But in the summer, majestic. And went up to the go ahead west of Vancouver. Was it called the Sun Coast? I think the Sun Coast. Really, really, really nice area. Really beautiful in the Vancouver area. And mid-March should be just fine. So if you wanted to plan a road trip, mid-March should be fine. Think Vancouver is kind of like Seattle, gloomy in the winter, but not very cold. Right there on the coast, so it stays gloomy, but it doesn't get too cold. Let's see, in Seattle, typically the weather temperature range was like 40 to 80. Although recent years, summers have gotten a little bit hotter, but in general, you don't really expect it to be too much over 85 in the summer, or too much lower than 40. Every now and then, I think we'd get like 3 snowfalls a year. And Vancouver, very, very similar weather. About a 2 hour and a half, 2 hour drive, depends on how long customs takes. The line at the border can back up. So mid-March, the Preds will head to Vancouver for the last meeting. Last year, the road team won all 3, and so far that has not held, with the Preds beating Vancouver here in Nashville, which meant the home team won. But last year, the road team won all of them, so Vancouver went 1-2, losing in mid-November 3-5 in Vancouver, losing in early January in Vancouver 0-3, and then late January came to Nashville for their solo win last year against the Preds, 3-1. Last year, Vancouver was fifth in the Pacific Division. They were in a playoff spot as far as March 7th and then went 9-11 for the rest of the year to fall out of the playoffs. Last year, they did tie for the most overtime losses, 14 with Calgary. So it's kind of a little bit of a difference, at least so far this year, that they have none. One of 9 teams not to have any overtime losses. Personnel issues, changes. They have 10 players. 10 players on the injured list. A couple might be back today. Well, even the ones that aren't listed. But defenseman Victor Mancini expected back today. Defenseman Quinn Hughes also expected back today. Both of those guys went out late October. So maybe Quinn Hughes very instrumental to their lineup, offense and defense. So they would be missing him if he missed the game. Teddy Bluger, center Teddy Bluger, also out, expected back on the 5th. Had been October 21st, but got pushed back to the 5th. Teddy Bluger. None of these, one of the guys does have stats. A lot of these people that are injured have been injured long enough that their stats aren't necessarily interesting. I think Teddy Bluger's stats last year were notable, so they are probably missing him. They're also missing defenseman Guillaume Brisebois, who's week to week. Not expected back until the 23rd of November, had been November 1st. Center Philip Schittel, Chytil, expected back on the 9th, had been expected back on the 28th of October. I'm not exactly sure how they do projections in the NHL with regards to when players are coming back. When the Kings came to town, Kopitar wasn't supposed to be in the lineup, and yet there he was, which was great. Glad to see him play. But, not sure how, but I hate it when dates start sliding. I just feel bad for people that, maybe they're continuing to be injured. Maybe it's, just part of a schedule strategy. I don't know, but I feel bad for them. One thing that's probably not just a schedule issue, defenseman Derek Forbert was moved to long-term injured reserve. But he's not, but still, expected back the 5th of November as opposed to October 26th, which it had been. Right wing Connor Garland is somebody they're missing, not expected back until the 5th. Nils Hoglander, also week to week, had been month to month, so I'm pretty sure that is a improvement. He was moved month to month as of the 20th of October, but he's not expected back until mid-December. And then Quinn Hughes mentioned him. Jonathan Lekurimaki. He got me. Not expected back until the 8th. Had been the 28th of October, and mentioned Mancini, and then defenseman Jet Wu, week to week, not expected back till the end of November. So, Bluger, Brisebois, Schittel, Forbert, Garland, Hoglander, Hughes, Lekurimaki, easy for you to say, Mancini, and Wu, all on the injured list. Again, Hughes and Mancini listed as expected back today. So, not that I want to see Hughes play against the Preds. That's fine with me if he doesn't. But you hate to see people out. As far as transactions go, they recalled 2 players, one on the 28th, one on the 30th, from the Abbotsford Canucks. Number 5 defenseman Tom Willander, and number 20 left wing Mackenzie McEachern. I just wondered when I saw that name. I just thought, what were the parents thinking? Mac Eckern and Mac, M-A-C, Kinsey. Capital K, capital E. Yeah, it's definitely not his fault unless he changed his name to that. But anyway, yeah. So then one of the things I thought was funny, I was looking at Puckpedia, getting updates on some of these players, and I was looking at the transactions list, and one of the transactions was that number 88 center Nils Amon was no longer on the Canucks NHL roster. And he was thought to be in Abbotsford. I wasn't quite sure what to think about that. No longer on the Canucks roster. Okay. Probably transferred or reassigned, but no longer on the roster. I thought that was funny. For your Nashville Predators, they are 6th in the Central with 12 points. They are 5-6-2, 4-3-1 here in Nashville. This is part of a 2-game homestand, and they are 1-0 on this homestand, having beaten Calgary on Saturday 4-2. Vancouver is the front end of a back-to-back, and the back end is a 1-game road trip heading up to Minnesota tomorrow. Tonight's game at 7:30, tomorrow's game at 7. Not that time makes a difference, but kind of weird that you've got to travel and the game is earlier. But hey, it's a schedule. And then Philadelphia, the Preds will be back here on Thursday facing Philadelphia. And then Saturday, Dallas for a 2-game homestand again. Player update. Number 59 defenseman Roman Josi has been moved to injured reserve as of yesterday. Not expected back until the 10th now. And defenseman Adam Wilsby, number 88, day-to-day, expected back today. Was expected back on the 30th, so not sure. Taking a look at the projected lineups. Wilsby is not projected to be in the lineup. So, yeah. And then number 36, right wing Cole Smith. Day-to-day had been expected back as of today. That has been changed to mid-December. Mid-December for Cole Smith. So he was having a good start to the season and instrumental, and so he is not going to be available. So it looks like, was it Ozzy Weisblatt will be sitting in his spot, kind of. Yeah, we got Forsberg, O'Reilly, Evangelista, Stamkos, Hala, Marchessault, Bunting, Zvechkov, Wood, Yost, McCarron, and Weisblatt as the list. Gay and Perbix will be the first line of defense with Haig and Blakenberg, and then Stastny and Barron. And that's projected lineups tonight with Cole Smith being out. Moving to stats. Yes, so statistics. 5-6-2, that's 13 games. So we're starting to look like we can talk about numbers with it being have enough background behind it. I guess normally talk about the first goal. First goal currently, when the Preds get it, 6 times they have, 4-1-1 when they get it, 7 times they have not. Well, that's pretty much half the time, splitting it at this point anyway. 1-5-1 when they don't. So the odds are right now very strong if they get it or don't. But not out of the realm of possibility. At least we've got the exceptions to prove the rule. Yeah, when they don't get it, they've gotten a win and an overtime win. And an overtime loss. Oh, well, I was trying to make trying to make something better out of that, but I guess not. Here at home, 3-1-0 when they get it, 1-2-1 when they do not. So again, fairly strong. 8 games evenly split between getting it and not getting it, and like 3-1 in both directions. Lose the game, well, overtime loss, it's still a loss. 3-1, there are 3 losses when they don't get it of the 4 times they didn't get it, and 3 wins and a loss when they do get the first goal. I think that was Dallas. And winning by period. The Preds are doing a little bit better. Originally, they hadn't won the first period. Now they've come back and they've won the first period a couple times. Yeah, 3 goals against Calgary. That sure did that. And then I think they also won it against Dallas, but they wound up losing that game. But they did win the first period. That was the first time they had won the first period this season. Happened kind of late in the season. The first period when home, there we go. 2-1-5 at home. They're 2-1-5 in the first period. The second period, they're 3-4-6, 1-3-4 here at home. So the home numbers don't look fantastic. And then, the third period, 3-9-1. So 3 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie in the third period. Here at home, 2-5-1. Holy crap. So how does that correlate? So the Preds won the first period twice. They're 1-1 in those games. They've lost it 3 times the first period. They're 0-3 in those games. And then they've tied the first period 8 times, and they've split those. And here at home, similar, 1-1 in the when they win, 0-1 when they lose. So they've only lost the first period once here. The 5 times they've tied the first period here, they're 3-2. So that's strong. Second period, the 3 times they've won it, they're 1-2. So winning the second period, not correlating. 0-4 when they lose the second period. So that's that's pretty nasty. Like I said before, you lose 2 periods and you've lost the game. Pretty much put a fork in it. And tying the second period, the 6 times they're 4-2. So that's good. So tying, the second period tying is better than winning right now. 1-2 when they win it, 4-2 when they tie it. Here at home, the only winning number is tying the second period. So the one time they won the second period here at home, they lost the game. The 3 times they lost it, they lost the game. And the 4 times that they tied it, they won. I don't like those stats at all. Third period, the 3 times they've won the third period, they've won the game. The 9 times that they've lost the third period, they did win 1 of those. I think that had to be Calgary the other night. And 1 time that they've tied it. So that is really interesting that the third period, they've only tied the third period once. Only tied it once. But here at home, twice they won the third period, won the game. 5 times they lost it, won 1 of those, so 1-4, and then once they tied it, and they won that one. So they're not winning the first period. So the correlation between the result of the first and the second period. They haven't won both of them. They haven't lost the first and won the second. They've tied the first and won the second, and that's happened 3 times, and they're 1-0-2. So they tie the first and win the second, and they haven't lost any of those except in overtime. The combinatorics with the first and second, having lost the second period, evenly spread, 1 win in the first, 1 time they lost the first, lost the second, that's a loss. Tied the first, lost the second, they've lost both of those. Everything was a loss. Losing the second period basically results in a loss. And wow, that's something. And then tie the first, tie the second, and they've won all 3 of those. Tie the first, win the second, they've won those. So tie the first, tie the second, not the best scenario. 0-2, I mean, it's not very many data points, though. So that's the thing about looking at these types of combinatorics when you don't have that much of a data point. The winning goal, moving on to winning goal, still pretty much the third period. Overall, 46% of the winning goals have been in the third period, 15% in overtime, 8% in the first, shootout, sorry. So 2-2-2, 2 times the winning goal has been in the first, second, and overtime. I don't expect that trend to continue, but very heavily in the third period right now. Preds winning 60% of the time. They're getting it in the third period. The other night they did get it in the first, and they've gotten it in a shootout. The opponents are, pretty evenly distributed. They like to score winning goals all over the place. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. Well, that's kind of nice symmetry. 2 in overtime. One of the things I started looking at was when the home team wins versus when the road team wins. Again, when the home team wins, very evenly spread out. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 1 in overtime, 1 in a shootout, 38% in the third. So that's right now the home team winning, very evenly spread. The road team winning, that's been five games on the road and heavily in the third, so 60%, but that's only 5 games. So can't really do too much with that. But with 8 home wins, the first and third, the only thing with more than 1. So that's interesting. Be more interesting the more data points we get. Oh, goal scoring, right? Goal scoring. Let's see. The Preds have been outscored in the first 8-9, in the second 11-13, in the third 13-19, and overtime 0-2. But hey, they are ahead in a shootout. Here at home, they are outscoring the opponents 8-5. So that's. But that's the only place. The second and third periods, both 6-9. They're being outscored in the second and third period, just not in the first, which it's a change of late, I believe, because they were not scoring very much in the first period. This is what I'm looking for. Difference in goal scoring in the second, third period when they, in different situation, Preds winning, tied, Preds losing. Looking at the second period, in all 3 situations, the Preds do not have an advantage. When they're tied, they come into the period tied. They are evenly scored, 8-8. That's the most prevalent thing. Need to note how many games those are. It's the other thing that's missing from that equation. Preds winning, entering the second period, they're being outscored 1-2. Come into the second period losing, they're being outscored 2-3. The only bright point in the third period is if they are tied, they are outscoring their opponents 3-2. If they come into the third period winning, they're being outscored 5-6, so that's close. When the Preds come into the third period losing, though, they're being outscored by 2 times as much, 5-13. That's not the best. Taking a look quickly at home, and what is that? 1-2, 5-6, 0-1. So in every one of those situations here at home, the Preds are being outscored by 1. Preds losing coming into the second period. They haven't scored any goals in the second period. In the third period, they are being outscored. When they come in winning, they're outscored 1-3. When they're tied, coming into the third period tied, they're outscoring opponents 3-2. And then when the third period 2-4, they're being outscored 2-4. And here at home, only one of those was an empty net goal. The Preds had an empty net goal, and when they were winning the game, so that's actually 0-3. So when they entered the third period winning here at home, they have not scored except an empty netter. Enter the third period losing, they've been outscored 2-3, removing the 1 empty net goal. So, yeah, goal scoring is a problem, and so let's step away from stats. All right, so let's start taking a look at the matchups. Goals for, neither Vancouver nor Nashville are setting the NHL on fire. Vancouver's 24th in the league, Nashville's 25th, 33-32. Both have 8 goals in the first, which is good for 23rd or 24th, depending on how you're looking at it. The second period better for Vancouver. They rise up to 10th in the league, getting 15. And the Preds are 24th with 11, so it's just a 4-goal differential, and it's 14 spots. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. And it got inverted in the third. Vancouver next to last in the league in scoring with only 9 goals in the third period. The Preds have 13, which gets them to 21st in the league. So nothing in the goals for really getting you excited. Except, I guess, that the two teams are playing each other in goals against. They are in the upper part of the league. The Preds are 8th in the league in being scored against, and Vancouver 11th. That's 43 for the Preds to 41 for Vancouver. A little stingy in the first period, both in the bottom half of the league being scored against in the first period. Both have 9. So that's funny. They both have the same goals scored for and against in the first period. So I'm expecting tonight's game to be tied at the end of the first, which is good news for the Preds, actually, oddly enough. The second period, the Vancouver has scored one more goal, has had one more goal scored against them, than the Preds have, 14 and 13th, good for 12th and 17th place in the league. But the third period, they just jump back up. Get on up there. Get on up. So they are 6th and 7th, 1 goal apart. So there's only two goal differential between how many goals Nashville and Vancouver has given up, with Nashville giving up 2 more. It must be overtime, because in regular time, it's exactly the same. Vancouver has given up 1 more than Nashville in the second, and Nashville's given up 1 more than Vancouver in the third. Well, yeah, they don't have an overtime loss, so I guess I would explain that. Those 2 goals, 2 extra goals against the Preds all happened in overtime. But in regular time, they are tied with number of goals given up. Woohoo! Yeehaw. Yeah, the third period, 6th and 7th in the league in giving up goals, and worst bottom of the league in scoring them. So I don't know. I'm not sure where this is going to go. I think the end of the first should be tied. Either team could go ahead in the second, although with the way Nashville's been playing, they probably would take the lead in the second. But what did I just say? Tying I never did talk about special team. Oh, no, special teams is coming up. Right, the correlation here at home, or with tying the first and, tying the first and winning the second hasn't happened yet. So, hey, let's go with that. And then I expect a tie third period. So I expect the winning goal scored in the second period tonight. I'll just say it. Why not? If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. Taking a look at goal scoring across the league as of, I pulled my data Friday. Number of goals scored in the first period has gone up. Now 27%. I think it had been 26%. And only 36% increase now from the first to the third period. Had been 40-some%. So production across the NHL in the first period is coming up. It, like I said, it had been kind of low, especially compared to second and third period. And historically, like last year, 29% of the goals scored were in the first period, with 33% in the second and 36% in the third. So very similar. Looks like it was about 536 goals difference between the first and the third, a 24% increase between the first and the third period, a 15% increase between the first and the second. This year, it's been a 28% increase between the first and the second. Last year, just 7% increase from the second to the third. And this year, so far, 6% from the second to the third. So the second and the third period are kind of growing similarly as last year. The first period this year kind of got off to a slow start, and coming back to it. It's got back to levels that they had last year. Special teams. Vancouver, not very good on the penalty kill, relative to the rest of the league, that is. 71%, 26th in the league in penalty kill. 13 goals against on 45 opportunities. Compare that to the Preds. Similar number of opportunities, 43 for the Preds. But an 88% effectiveness, which is 6th in the league right now. Both have scored one shorthanded goal, which raises them up a little bit, but takes them both up one tick. So the net results of the penalty kill for the Preds, they're 5th in the league, and Vancouver 25th. Now, Vancouver is 2nd in the league on penalty kill and being scored against, and 7th in opportunities. So that's not that's the side of the equation you want your opponents coming in, but as far as the team goes, that's not the best. The 7th most opportunities, but the 2nd most goals scored against. The Preds have the right ratio, 27th and being scored on, with the 8th most opportunities. I don't really like them being that high in number of penalties taken to be on the penalty kill, but you've got to like that they've 27th in the league, so 5 of 43. As far as power play, neither team very good. Again, relative. 21st in the league for Vancouver and 30th for Nashville. That's 16.7% for Vancouver to 12.5 for Nashville. Vancouver has scored 7 power plays on 42 opportunities, so they've had similar. Nashville's had 40 opportunities and only scored 4. So Vancouver has scored 3 more goals with 2 more opportunities. They have given up 2 shorthanded goals, so that makes their net effectiveness 11.9%. So the Preds beat them out there. They are 12.5% overall, 24th net, with Vancouver being 26th. The Preds not having given up a shorthanded goal yet this season. As far as goals to opportunities, Vancouver has had the 11th most opportunities and have scored the 23rd most goals. That's not the way you want the equation to go. And the Preds are in the same situation, 18th number of opportunities, mid-pack in the NHL, and 28th in scoring goals. So that's not really how you want those numbers to go. As far as how they're doing it, it looks like here in Nashville anyway, for the Predators, 31%. The opponents are 31% in the third period. So 4 goals on 13 opportunities. In the second period, they haven't scored any power play goals, 0 for 15, and 1 for 21 in the first. So the opponents have had the least number of opportunities in the third period, but have scored 4 goals, the most of goals, 80% of their goals. Preds, not so much. The Preds are 2 for 13 in the first, 1 for 20 in the second, 2 for 10 in the third, 0 for 1 in overtime. That's looking about the same. The Preds here in Nashville are, that's 25%. They're 25% effectiveness in the first and third periods. Here in Nashville, 2 of 8 in both the first and third, 0 for 9 in the second. And the opponents have only had 1 power play goal here in Nashville. That was in the third period with the least number of opportunities as well, 7. 1 for 7 versus they had 14 opportunities in the first and 12 in the second. So, so the Preds are 4-1, having scored 4 power play goals to only giving up 1 here in Nashville with 7 more opportunities for the opponents, 26 to 33. And the rest of these 5-on-4 opportunities. Wow, the Preds are 4 for 24 and 5-on-4 opportunities. The opponents 1 for 29. I guess that's not really surprising. 6-on-5. The Preds have done that 6 times with 1 goal, and the opponents have done it 8 times for none here in Nashville. Overall, 6-on-5, 13 times for both with 1 goal for both. 6-on-5, 6-on-4. The opponents have had 2 opportunities, 6-on-4, and they've scored 1 goal. So, comparing that to last year, last year the second period was when the opponents were scoring most of their goals, 28%. Nashville was 30%. Oh, no, this is on the road. That's on the road. Back that up. But 22%. Overall, 22% in the second period for the opponents. Then the Preds, 26 in the second, which was the highest for both. Here in Nashville, the highest was first for Nashville, 29%. So 25% is quite about in line with last year. Last year, the Preds were 20% effective in the third, 23% in the second. And the opponents primarily, 22% in the third period last year here in Nashville. 15% in the second and 9% in the first. So I guess the third period effectiveness, last year overall the opponents were 22 in the second and 21 in the third. So pretty much split, but only 8% in the first. So not necessarily, so this trend with them being more effective in the third is different from last year. Again, how many data points do we have? 49 for the opponents, 13 in the third period. So those numbers are looking, kind of statistically interesting. Statistically interesting, but from a Preds fan, not so much. Some are okay, but... Moving on to the goaltenders. Moving on to greener pastures. So Vancouver, Thatcher Demko is 4-4-0 this year with Kevin Lankinen, ex-Pred, 2-3-0. Earlier this year, Demko played in the first game, so he is 0-1 against the Preds this year. That game was notable because it was the shorthanded goal. O'Reilly got a shorthanded goal in that game in the second period, and Cole Smith got the third period winner. For Vancouver, that was the second of a 3-game losing streak for them. Last year, Lankinen was in goal in the first 2 games against Nashville. He went 0-2, losing 3-5, and 0-3, both in Vancouver. The first time we met Vancouver last year, they were alternating wins and losses, and so got that loss. And the second time we met them was the start of a 4-game losing streak, so good for you. Demko was in goal in the third game, which was here in Nashville, so he was 1-0 with a 3-1 win here in Nashville. That game was the end of a 3-game winning streak. It looks like Demko is getting about 2 starts to Lankinen's 1, plus when he's playing in the back-to-back. Lankinen played Thursday, and so, Demko, that'll be Demko versus Nashville. Is that... let's see. Let me see. That they have the projected. Yeah, they're projecting Demko in goal and Saros, but they're saying Saros. That what do they say here? Okay, so they say Demko has played against the Preds 10 times, and he's 6-3-1 with a .922 save percentage and 2.31 goals against. Saros has played 21 games against Vancouver. He's 10-7-1 with a .906 save percentage and 2.4 goals against. So far this year, Saros' save percentage is just like it is against Vancouver. Goals against 2.7, which is higher than his goals against with Vancouver historically. 2.41 for Demko, 2.3 is very close. His save percentage .917 overall and .922 against the Preds. So that's pretty similar. So Demko against Demko should be in goal tonight. For Nashville, UC Saros 5-4-2 with Justice Anunin backing him up 0-2-0. Saros was in goal in the game earlier, the 2-1 win here in Nashville. And the goal in the second period, just under 3 minutes after the shorthanded. The one goal was in the second period, about 3 minutes after the shorthanded goal. This game ended a 4-game losing streak this year. Last year, Saros was in goal for the first 2, so he was 0-2 against Vancouver. And that didn't get updated. The production staff missed something here, but fortunately, they didn't miss it for Vancouver, but didn't update it. But I think this is still right. That would have been the okay. Yep. Okay, got it. Sorry. The production staff doesn't update something, then I start wondering what I'm looking at. In the first game, was the last of a 3-game losing streak. The other 2 games in that losing streak were both overtime 2-3 losses. This was also the second game of a back-to-back with Edmonton. And the third game we played against the third game was also part of a back-to-back, the back part of a back-to-back. So twice, two of the 3 times we played Vancouver last year was the second part of a back-to-back. The first game was the first meeting, and we lost that one. And that is the end of the 3-game losing streak. And the second time we played was the last game of an 8-game losing streak. So losing to Vancouver stops losing streaks. Isn't that what happened earlier this year? Yeah, so when we played earlier this year, beating Vancouver ended a 4-game losing streak. When we lost to Vancouver, we didn't. That's right. We lost to Vancouver last year. Last year, losing to Vancouver ends losing streaks. This year, beating them ends losing streaks. I don't really like that trend. As far as the third game last year, it was Anunin in goal. With the 4-1 win over Calgary, in Calgary. Geez. All right. That is not right. That is not right because we won the first two. As definitely did not get updated. That did not get updated. Okay, let's take a quick look here. For some reason, I think some of this might be right. Vancouver. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So the game against Vancouver, yeah, that was Calgary. Calgary was the last of three in a back-to-back with Edmonton. Okay, so all this data that was all about, at least the part with Nashville, was all Calgary information. So the first game against Vancouver last year was a win in Vancouver, ended a 3-game losing streak. Then we had, then we lost to Seattle and beat Winnipeg. And then the next time that we played Vancouver ended a 3-game winning streak. So I like that. So this year, beating Vancouver ended a losing streak. Last year, the first two times we played them, those ended losing streaks. And then when we met them the third time, the one game here in Nashville was the second of a 6-game losing streak. Saros was in goal. Saros was in goal for all three. Okay, so Noonan was not in goal for any of those. Saros was in goal in all 3 games versus Vancouver last year. The second game was part of a back-to-back. We played at Vancouver, then at Calgary, won both of those. The first one was Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, so that was not a back-to-back situation. And then neither was the last one. So, yeah, so last year, Saros was a gold for all 3. That is funny. 2 of them ended 3-game losing streaks. And then the win was part of a losing streak. And so this year, when we played them, we had been on a losing streak, and that ended that. But that's not the case tonight. Tonight, we won the last game. So there you go. Anyway, so the hell this section is all wrong. Nice. Good thing I checked. Anyway, let's just make sure. Saros was in goal. Yes, Saros was in goal early this year. We gotta get those quantum energy squares in the production room because they totally missed this. I don't know why. But missed this whole section. Wow. Anyhow, didn't waste too much time with the wrong information. So this far into the season, Noonan is only playing in back-to-back situations, and we are in a back-to-back situation. Tomorrow we'll be at Minnesota. So I was thinking I have a Noonan in goal tonight. They're projecting Saros. I tried to, it didn't. It didn't. I just felt like I tried to look to see if either of them had any necessarily better inclination against one team or another, and didn't see anything. And let's see, Minnesota is not having the best start to their year either. They're behind the Preds. They played 13 games just like the Predators, and they're 1 point behind. So don't know that Vancouver or Minnesota is necessarily at this point a tougher team or better for one goaltender or another. I still was thinking Noonan versus Vancouver, but Puckpedia is projecting Saros. I guess we'll see. People to watch. Oh, man. It just kept going on and on. We'll start with people that are injured. Connor Garland, right wing Connor Garland. He's injured, and I don't believe that he is back for tonight's game. But he's first in assists, first in points, first in time on ice for forwards at 20 minutes, 30 seconds, third in shots at 28, but he is injured. Defense, Quinn Hughes, number 43, second in assists and first on time on ice. So he may or may not be back. Are they project? I don't think they do that. They don't project. I think that when they put people's names up there, they Quinn. They do not have Quinn in the lineup. Both Pedersens. There are two Pedersens that play for Vancouver, and they're both left defensemen. I knew there were two defensemen, but and that's interesting because one I got him as a center. I got Pedersen listed as a center. Well, what in the world? That is really bad if that's wrong. How did that get wrong? Pedersen. Elias Pedersen, center. Do they have, maybe they're showing, no, wow. There are three Pedersens. Well, that explains it. There are three Pedersens. There's Elias Pedersen, number 40. He's a center. And then we've got Elias N. Pedersen. That's not confusing. Number 25, who's a defenseman. And then Marcus Pedersen, number 28. So I guess last year they only had two Pedersens, and this year they've decided that that's it's Pedersen or nothing. Elias N. and Elias. I guess that's another good reason why you've got to have nicknames for people. Sundsvall Sveden, Skedalfly, Västerås. Well, none of them are from the same place. They're all three from Sweden, though. So three Pedersens. Three Pedersens. Okay, so there is a center, and he's in the game. Okay, so we got three Pedersens in the game tomorrow night. Two of them are on defense, and they're both left defensemen. Not confusing at all, but the Pedersen that I have down is a center. Number 40, he's third in points on the team, 3 goals, 5 assists, which don't rank. First on the team in goals and points is Kiefer Sherwood, number 44, 9 goals, no assists apparently. And the bad thing about him is that he's currently at a 36% shot percentage. So he's got 9 goals on 25 shots for 36%. So that's number 44. So no matter what is happening, if 44 is on the ice, that's a problem. They've got him listed on the second line at right wing, paired with Kane and Reichel. Kane is, I got him listed because he's second on the team in shots with 31. Jake DeBrusk leads the team in shots, but that's about it. Quinn Hughes is second in assists. So I think Brock Boeser is second in goals, but that's it. Kiefer Sherwood, really the most dangerous guy on the ice, number 44. Now, they do have two other players who are at 33%. Lekarimaki. I guess if you don't think about it and just pronounce it, maybe it comes out better. Lekarimaki is also 33%. They got one guy's at 50%, Bluger, but I think he's injured. And but he's only played 2 games. He's got 1 goal on 2 shots. But Max Sasson, number 63, is 33%, 3 goals on 9 shots. Philip Chittle, I think Philip Chittle is also injured. I think there's so many people injured. And looking back, we played them early in the season, and they'd start the season, they had so many people injured. That's just awful. Yeah, so Max Sasson and Philip Chittle. I'm pretty sure Chittle's injured. Not mentioned here as being injured, but I think I remember his name. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Why would I remember his name? So, yeah, I think, 44, maybe keep an eye on Max Sasson, number 63. Where's Sasson? Sasson centers the fourth line. Yeah, and that's bad because apparently the fourth line has been doing it against the Preds. Yeah, I think so. I think number 63, because when 63 is going to be on the ice, then they're going to have their fourth line. So that will definitely be an indicator. The second line, Sherwood, 44 will be the right wing. They got Boeser. Oh, yeah, Boeser, second Boeser. Okay, Brock Boeser. Pettersson, one of many. And DeBrusk. Was DeBrusk mentioned? Oh, first in shots. So the first line, and Evander Kane is on the second line with Sherwood. The other thing that was interesting, Kane has 26 penalties in minutes, but 12 came against Minnesota. I thought the 26 seemed like a lot, but he got a slashing and misconduct. They were about 4 minutes apart. And the guy it was coincidental, both of them. Penalized each other, went to the box for 2 minutes, came out 2 minutes later, I guess on their next shift. Both got misconducts. So it was kind of ugly from that standpoint. But that was only 12 minutes. So taking those out, he's only 14 minutes. So it's not really necessarily that big of a deal. Lots of people injured. For Nashville, Forsberg leading the team in goals and points and shots. And also Ryan O'Reilly tied with Forsberg in goals and shots. He leads the forward crew in ice time with 1921. He's also currently at 26.3% shooting percentage. I think he got 2 shots the other night, didn't score, so he's got 5 goals on 19 shots now. And Michael Bunting making an entry into the stat list. He's third on the team in goals, third in the team in assists, and so third on the team in points, and second on the team in shooting percentage, a whopping 20%. Three goals on 15 shots. Number 58, Michael Bunting. Good for you. Now, the Preds do have 6 players that all have 4 assists. So 2 with 5. 2 players with 5. Eric Haula. Number 56, Haula. And number 77, Luke Evangelista, leading the team in assists, both with 5. And then 6 players with 4. Stastny and Barron, the other players. So we've got Bunting, Yossi, who is out, O'Reilly, and Forsberg, all with 4 assists. So the assists, spreading those around, that's really good. And so I think that's the major time periods there. Brady Skay, with Yossi out, as far as active players go, leads the team at 23-12. And then Ryan O'Reilly, the forward with most ice time. Now, Forsberg is close behind, mind you, but I don't do a lot else with the time on ice except tell you who seems to be on the ice the most times, and I guess you'll just kind of see it, right? So there you go. Vancouver coming to Nashville for the second time this year. First team that we have seen twice this year. Vancouver is 6-0 on the road. They're a decent road team. They're 4-4-0. They've been alternating wins and losses for the last 4 games after losing 3 in a row, and so they lost their last game. So I'm hoping that alternating streak does not continue, and we can put them back on a losing streak. Yes, let's beat them and then send them up to Chicago. Oh, no, they go home and they face Chicago. Well, they can go home and face Chicago. Well, set them up for Chicago to beat them. Why not? Why not? Then they've got a back-to-back this weekend. So they've been alternating games recently after losing 3 in a row. The Preds are 5-6-2 at home. They are 4-3-1. So the home record and the road record for Vancouver and Nashville is very similar. Saturday's win here at home stopped a 3-game losing streak. And the game on Saturday was the first game with 3 goals in one period. It happened to be the first period. And that win stopped a 3-game losing streak. So yeah, I think there's some good momentum here in Nashville, which is good. It's good to have good momentum. Good. All right, so that's the game tonight, 7:30 p.m. here in Nashville. Bundle up; it's cold here today, and you'll be colder outside than inside tonight, most likely, which is kind of the way I prefer it. No, actually, well, yeah, that way you can wear something and then take it off, as opposed to having to carry something in to wear. Whatever. Anyway, so bundle up. It's cold here in Nashville. Oh, yeah, it's cold here in Nashville, yeah. It says Canadians come down here and get real cold, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, tonight, the Vancouver diving team, the Canucks, otherwise known as the Canucks, are here in Nashville for a 7:30 start. They've got it maybe 7:38 puck drop because they've got to sing both anthems. And, Canada. So go Nashville, go Preds. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor. You've been listening to Predators Proclivity.